Kevin, Part 1. The same dust motes danced in the same shaft of afternoon light, illuminating the same photograph on his desk. Kevin Garrett hadn't moved in hours. Lee's smile, so bright and carefree, mocked the hollowness in his own. He could almost hear her laughter, the way it used to fill his room, his life. Gone. The word echoed in the silence, a dull ache behind his ribs. A soft knock on the door broke through his reverie. "Son?" His father's voice, hesitant, drifted through the wood. "You okay in there? It's time to eat, if you're hungry." Kevin didn't answer. He wasn't hungry. He hadn't been hungry in weeks. He heard his father sigh and retreat down the stairs. He closed his eyes, the image of Lee's smiling face burning behind his eyelids. He rolled over, the worn cotton of his sheets cool against his skin. Sleep wouldn't come. Not real sleep, just a restless tumble through half-formed memories. Nights spent with Lee in this very bed, her laughter echoing in the darkness. Lee and Tyler. The thought was a fist clenching in his gut. Tyler, the man who had stolen Lee's heart, her smile, her. If I saw him in my Explorer. The image flashed in his mind, tires screeching, a sickening thud. He pushed the thought away, a wave of nausea rising in his throat. The first rays of dawn crept through the blinds, painting the room in a pale, gray light. Kevin dragged himself out of bed, the familiar ache in his muscles, a welcoming distraction from the pain in his heart. Push-ups, sit-ups, bench presses, the routine was a mindless ritual, a way to numb the thoughts that swirled in his head. He pulled on sweatpants, a sweatshirt, the fabric rough against his skin, and headed out for his morning run. His feet pounded the pavement, a steady rhythm against the silence of the early morning. He used to love running, the way it cleared his head. Now it was just a way to escape the four walls of his room, the memories that clung to him like shadows. Were they together last night? The question was sharp pain, a stitch in his side. 2 years. How could she just erase 2 years? He pushed himself harder, trying to outrun the thoughts, the questions, the gnawing emptiness. A car horn blared, shattering his concentration. He stopped running and sat down on the curb, watching the cars stream past, their headlights cutting through the pre-dawn darkness. He'd done this every morning for 2 weeks. The sleepless nights, the mindless exercise, the hollow ache in his stomach. He was a ghost, barely living. Back home, his father would have breakfast waiting. Since his mother died 2 years ago, his father had taken on the role of cook, a silent testament to his love and devotion. Kevin appreciated it. He truly did. He'd even gotten a job at Pete's Putt-Putt Palace downtown to help with the bills, a small way to show his gratitude. His father was thankful, of course, but he kept urging Kevin to get out, to experience life, to find his own place. Find his own place. The words echoed in his mind, empty and meaningless. He forced down an egg and some juice, his stomach churning in protest. The shower was quick, mechanical. He dressed in his work clothes, the familiar uniform, a symbol of the mundane life he was now leading. How glamorous, he thought bitterly as he pulled into the parking lot of Pete's Putt-Putt Palace. He walked into the bright painted red building, the garnished yellow lettering of Pete's Putt-Putt, seemingly particularly jarring this morning. He clocked in, the punch card small, insignificant, ritual in the face of his larger reef. Pete Graz, the owner and self-proclaimed proprietor, was in his office, talking to someone whose back was to Kevin. Interview, Kevin thought, then walked out the door toward his station. "Kevin," Pete called out, "will you show Miss..." He shuffled through some papers. "Barnes, Carol Barnes. She's starting today. She'll be your partner for the next month." Kevin barely glanced at the woman as she turned to face him. "Hello, Kevin. I'm Carol. It's nice to meet you," she said, extending her hand. "Follow me," he mumbled, turning away. He led her down the brightly colored paths of the putt-putt course, plastic greens and miniature windmills, a surreal backdrop to the darkness in his heart. All day, he barely spoke to Carol, barely looked at her. He showed her the ropes, the putters, the scorecards, the clock-out procedure, then left without a word. He climbed into his Explorer, the familiar scent of stale coffee and old gym socks filling his nostrils, and drove home. He ate nothing, went straight to bed, and stared at Lee's picture until sleep finally claimed him. End of part 1. Thank you.